1 minute. Second. And 5, 4, 3.
Hi everyone, welcome to Movers Signum. This is edition 4. We are here at Dansens Elverket in Stockholm, and my name is Andrea Redmer, and I will guide you through this 45 minutes this afternoon. I often get kind of curious questions about the format and what Movers Signum is all about. And we here at Dansens, we think that we want to show the diversity of Sweden-based choreographers, and we also want to kind of connect them with the networks we have and also show their works to different programmers or different dance houses. So this is why we're here today and the next 45 minutes. But just let's start. We're going to show you Ellen Söderhult as our first choreographer here at the Elverket.
Give me a minute.
Thank you very much. Well, kind of ripping your hearts out, right? Thank you, Ellen. What did we just see?
We saw a little medley from my first and my latest piece. The first piece, it was all danced by Morgane, Nicol, Yuri, Shimaoka, Jade, Stenhuijs, and on drums was Josefina, Pukitis. Yes, very great team. The first piece is called How to Do Things with Romance. I think it's my first piece, depending on how you count. It will soon have 10-year anniversary. It's from 2016. It was very much inspired from dancing together in class and flying around in the room. I always felt like a pack of horses somehow. And I always wanted to do team sports, but I never did. So this was the revenge. Take out the competition and still get to wear the clothes. And we danced to a song by Sibyl Attar. It was a Riot Girl punk song. And the second piece, is it from this year? Oh, Jesus. Okay, it's true. We made it here last year in the residency, produktionsresidens. But it was a duet then, because it was kind of my first little bit autobiographical piece, dealing with heartbreak, but also very inspired by a book by Anne Carson called Eros the Bittersweet. So it's a lot about that it can be many feelings at the same times that are very contradictive, and also we're very bit curious about what it feels like in your flesh. Maybe versus how it is often portrayed, like gestaltat. So how you gestaltar romantik, how it is. Is it portrayed? How you
portrayed.
Thank you. It's hard, gestaltning. So it dives into this, I think, a bit. And then, I think also what connects them, maybe it's a little bit maximalist approach.
We were talking about the two, the themes of the two works, and how do they kind of stand against each other, or they kind of show different sides of one theme?
Yeah, potentially, but mostly you get tired in the legs from both pieces when you do them full out. So they move a lot in space, and maybe I think, or I hope that they also work a little bit with dance in the theater. Like what to do with all this space and this kind of you watching us and we being in front of you. We were talking a lot when we were working on this. I made this piece with Morgane and Jade. And how we were using somehow the audience as our diary, like the friend that you call. Like you experience something and then you have to tell someone, call a friend, that's you. You don't have to agree, it still works, but... Yeah.
Thank you, Ellen. Our time is up.
Yeah,
and also
always.
Thank you to your team here. So, thank you. Next up, we're going to have Erik Linghede, but first a short intermission. Erik Linghede, welcome to Mover Signum.
Thank you so much.
You're a dancer and a choreographer.
That's correct.
And now we are sitting in camping chairs. Why?
So it's my latest project, actually. I'm working on a solo, my first solo I'm going to do next year in the autumn. I've choreographed many pieces before. I've choreographed like photography exhibitions. That's a project I've done recently. And also I choreographed the sunrise, the actual sunrise with music last year in Stockholm. So I've taken many different angles on like choreography, dance, and performance. And in this upcoming solo, it has the sort of like nature theme, you could say, yeah.
So you say nature theme. What are you going to do exactly? I heard something about the Dolomites maybe, or, yeah? Tell me more.
Yeah, so for me, like dancing and art is a lot about being somehow like very curious and adventurous. And that's why I've also like tried many different approaches to how you can perform dance and choreography. I have many different interests, you know, and I try to combine them. And the last 2 years or so, I've been out with this bag a lot in Stockholm, but also like, you know, did some serious hikes as well, where I try to combine photography and dancing. And for me, it's a lot about like getting a little bit lost. I feel like when you are a little bit lost and you find something, then it's an interesting space to be, you know.
It's an adventure.
It's an adventure, you know, and I like that a lot. And it's also kind of like a game, like living out a little bit of like a childhood, you know, like you just go out and you go play and you don't know where you end up, and you find like, you know, strange places that you can like investigate, and it's kind of a little bit like that. And I also like to combine it with actually like dancing. So in this solo, I've been doing like 2 days residency where I had this tent inside of like the basement of a space here in Stockholm, a venue, and I slept there for 1 night. I'm not going to do it again.
Why not?
No, it was not a nice experience, but the whole like the thing to do, it was very nice. It was very adventurous to be in a theater when nobody was there. You know, I danced through the night instead of working in the day. I really like these kind of like thrills when I'm into my art projects. Yeah.
So it's kind of a combination between, you know, nature and being in an art space, and those are mostly not connected. So
yeah, so for this project, for the solo, it's like I really want to try something like really solo. So I want to go somewhere where there's no people, and it's kind of like both like an adventure for me, of course, but it's also kind of playing with, you know, you're never solo, you know, everything that you are is in relationship to other people. So I'm playing a little bit with that, and you know, I know that I'm like a 39-year-old man, you know, like I can see many different men going into the woods, you know, like finding themselves or whatever. So I'm kind of playing a little bit with that kind of character. I call it sometimes the Thule man, like because I feel like I'm partly that kind of man, you know, and also like, you know, struggling to connect, but at the same time like really looking for connection. And I feel like through dancing, that's a gate for me to connect like deeply to myself. Yeah.
And we can also follow you on this kind of in this process where
Yes.
you're hiking, right? You're gonna do something on Instagram, or
I'm gonna do like broadcasts from my travels. Like I'm looking to do this in April next year, about 4 weeks, adventurous like survivalist art project kind of thing.
so we can all participate.
You can all participate and like follow the story, you know. I like to build a relationship before the show, so everybody gets to see all the details and then come and see the final performance. Yes.
But I have to ask you about aesthetics, because you talk about nature and you talk about what you find there, and being alone but not really alone. Aesthetics, how does it look? What does it mean to you?
So for me, aesthetics is like somehow the imaginary world, you know. Like it's cinematic for me. I'm raised in a generation where we had a lot of inspiration from the movies and like music videos. So for me, like I'm really into the visuals. That's why photography is also one of my main things. But aesthetic-wise, in the dance, my inspiration comes from like popping dance style, like slow motion kind of qualities, like the music video slow motion kind of like reenactments. And I think like aesthetics for me is super interesting, but it's like the more like front layer, and then like I like to let the intuition and feelings guide me in the like core process, because for me I'm looking for freedom, you know.
Yeah.
So and then I don't want to think too much. I just want to react, like listen and act, kind of.
And go deeper.
Yeah. And just kind of find like a resonance somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you talked about yourself like this white male going into nature,
Into the woods.
into the woods, fully equipped with tents and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you use humor?
Yes.
Are you a funny guy?
I don't know if I would, you know, like frame myself as a funny guy, but I really enjoy humor. I think humor is so important, you know, in whatever you do, and I feel that in the art context as well, it sometimes can be a little bit tense rooms, like, and for me, I think humor is a way to connect, and I'm really into that. I really want to connect with other people and share, you know, moments, and I feel like humor is a way to like bridge gaps and connect together. So, I mean, I'm not going to do anything that I consider funny, but it's perfectly fine to laugh. But you know, today I'm more into the exploration of like listening and reacting to an old soundtrack from one of my first performances, just to see what comes out. And I'm kind of curious about that, like putting myself a little bit on the spot. Yeah.
So now we're gonna see. You looked so relaxed in that chair, but now actually you're gonna stand up and we're gonna see something from what you're working on.
Yes,
right now.
My 2-day residency. I'm gonna show you everything. Yes.
Erik Linghede.
Thank you.
Stina Nyberg, thank you for this. What did we just see?
This is the beginning of a solo that I made that is called Sweet, which has turned out to be one part of a series of performances that somehow deals with the current ecological disaster, with the extinction of the animals, and with somehow the hope of the world without us, without the humans in it.
I see. So when we talk about the focus of your work and we look at it like on a timeline, where would you say that your focus has been for the last years, and how do you pick it up now again? How do you approach that?
I guess I've for a couple of years been quite busy with the practice of sense perception, something I think we as dance practitioners is quite good at. So something about how we perceive the world, I guess, through which senses what makes us actually being touched and changed, and what do we change with it somehow. So I've been busy with that, which has brought me somehow into the animal kingdom, with the theory that perhaps we can borrow the senses of the animals in order to look at this world differently, using more touch, smell, an acute sense of timing, and so on. Which in its turn had then brought me to the human species as an animal, and as a pretty crappy animal in this world somehow. Yeah.
Okay, how crappy? I just have to ask.
Well, basically, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
I mean, in the lieu of current world events, I think a lot of people would agree.
Yeah, but I've heard you talk about like doom and gloom. Can you elaborate on that? Have you gone from doom to kind of something different, or is it more intertwined with each other?
Yeah. I mean, very practically, I made a work on commission for the dance company Moderator, which was called the Dawn Chorus. That dealt very much with birds and death, I would say, in a way. It was a very doomy work. After that, I moved into this solo called Sweet, which is a very intimate performance. So that's for a small group, a small circle around me. And it deals with both the very long perspective of the beginning of humankind to the very short perspective of my lifespan. It also has a lot of like personal storytelling somehow through it. And now I'm moving into a new piece, which still hasn't given up on working somehow of the ecological catastrophe. I seem to still be in this world. But the coming work, which is called Chest, deals with a gendered lens on the ecological disaster. So it takes a look at white hegemonic masculinity and its role on like perpetuating or driving the ecological catastrophe. It takes a look somehow at the urge to find yourself in nature. It takes a kind of look also on the love of the dad, I would say, who goes to the forest in his checkered shirt and looks at little details. So it kind of builds this world of like all kinds of masculinities and their relationships to nature, with a kind of hope to like find some kind of like new dude. I don't know. We are working, it's a group work, and we're also working with a musician called Kaki King, who is making a guitar composition for the whole work, which has given it all a very cinematic quality. So we are now working in the realm of thinking of like withdrawing the protagonist, the action hero, and place him perhaps more as a nature or atmosphere or weather or something less tangible somehow. That's where I am right now.
That's where you are.
It will premiere here in this space actually in May.
Yeah. Interesting with the nature and men in nature. Really interesting. Different versions, different perspectives.
For sure.
But now we're going to see some more from you. Moving. What is it?
I'm going to show another part from the solo suite. The fear that the human race might not survive has been replaced by the fear that it will endure. The human species are the assholes of creation. Seriously, everyone hates us. Us leaving this place will be welcome. It will be grand. Let's imagine it. As the human species falls to the ground, our bodies will wither and decompose. Our bones will manure the soil, and out of our fallen armpits, new grass will grow. From our thighs, fresh rivers will flow, unexploited and playful. Our kneecaps will harbor the soft and squishy ones. Our breasts will grow into new mountains, and our asses will be deep valleys, lush. Clean air will harbor happy winds, and our hair will fall like waterfalls, free of enterprising eyes.
Thank you, Stina Nyberg. Also, thank you to Erik Linghede and Ellen Söderhult with the team. So nice to have you here at Elverket. Our time is up for today, and we will close this Mover Signum. Thank you to the audience, both here and the digital audience, and we will see you in the next year, 2024. Bye for now.